everybody, we're going to be playing with your characters in Brunnogardt. And we're just going to cut to the point where they get their payment.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're basically going to be ushered out of the mansion because I don't want to roleplay. I'm open.
You don't want me to roleplay with the Mafia
Give him the gold and just...
Mafia Boss or Radomir, who's adorable and cute, but also hard to roleplay for me because my voice is bad.
That, not so much, but since I'm a criminal.
Is it only just because you're super self-conscious after hearing yourself?
No, yes. I did it the first time and I was already terrified. Can't do that.
Okay,
alright, so you guys just come out of Radomir's mansion. He's spent an absolute BS amount of time telling you just how thankful he is because his boss has stopped bothering him now that her son is back. She did not let you keep long with her son. She did not let you interrogate her son. Her son was gone basically the moment you left the well. Like literally like grabbed and gone.
Where'd the child go? Is he okay?
The money was provided rather quickly, so the promised money was I think 1,000 gold pieces each.
Alright. 1,000 each?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You saved the heir to a noble kingdom from what's a massive crime lord and
so
can
rich.
easily throw
We
that.
totally stopped the terrible thing that is trying to...
Well, I don't know if it fully stopped it, but
But that's what we tell everyone.
we bought a little bit of time anyway.
We turned off the lights and now it's stumbling a little bit, finding the light switch.
You dropped a bunch of rocks on the opening, so you think you're good. Anyway,
I feel like that's how Ku would feel. That's good.
That's good enough.
you can't go wrong.
What could go wrong?
But, you know, that was what you were there for, and you managed to secure a bit of the peace in Brunnogardt and the region around Mount Brunn, or the, I think it's the Duchy of Brunn, since she's technically a Grand Duchess, and she honestly has no good title. It's too long and stupid to actually have a good title.
That's okay. Ku would still appreciate it.
It's not even half in Elvish, it's just like there's a 3-sentence long title about how she's like the descendant of the gods of war.
Third order something or other.
Yeah, because she's inherited one of the most powerful institutions in the country. So you guys have just gotten out. You've almost been shoved out, but also you were shoved out with lots of money, so I'm not sure you're upset.
Nope. Not at all.
I'll say that.
Everybody, what's your perception? At least your passive
Passive
perception.
is 12.
14.
Passive perception. I have 16.
So how do you
Nice.
say you're
Passive.
proficient in
My passive is usually better
So what
than
did everyone get again?
regular.
Now that we've had that
Passive is 14.
14?
11.
I am just 11.
18!
Alright, so cool. Unlike everyone else, while you're there, you do notice something strange.
Oh no.
One of Radomir's only daughter looks oddly familiar. Give me a history check.
I shall give you a history check.
This is a hilarious way to use history, by the way. I think Anna already knows what I'm talking about, but
History?
yeah.
Oh, goody. That's a good number. That's 20.
Stuck double comes to.
Oh, you got a 20?
Not a nat. Just a 20.
A 20's good enough. You do notice there's something familiar. You recognize the same face that you remember seeing in Bogdana's hut.
Oh!
She's the exact same face as one of Bogdana's daughters.
That's awkward. And it's Radomir's
Face,
daughter
hair,
too?
one of Radomir's daughters looks exactly like one of the mini Bogdanas.
I'm probably gonna go up to her and be like, well, hey!
You know, one of the children that certain people
Wow.
stole porcelain toys from and smashed several things in their rooms.
It's true.
What?
When you looted
What?
Radomir's mansion, you guys looted her room as well.
You weren't there at the time.
So while they were on the upper floors doing stuff, they looted their room
And smashed porcelain
and smashed
toys.
their stuff.
He was gonna go smash it. I saved one of them. And then
You did, and then you gave it away
I did
to
because
somebody else.
he needed it. He was protecting it.
I don't think Grog has any recollection of this event happening.
That's fine.
And I was doing something, I was just trapped inside a mirror.
They all assumed that it was the work of the strange monster haunting the mansion.
There it is.
That
Yeah,
kicked
so
the snot out
just
of
like-
you guys. So you guys got off the hook there somehow.
I know you. You're that one girl at Bogdana's.
She's like, we've never met.
You know Bogdana?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you there.
She
I
kinda
never
looks
forget a face, man.
She looks odd at you, like she's nervous now. You've made her very nervous.
Why are you nervous? Wait.
It just makes her more so nervous, and she like starts walking backwards and around.
Wait, no. Is this because
Why are
like
you nervous?
what? So you're Radimir's daughter, but Bogdana also said that you were her daughter. So like, are they a thing?
Radimir's kind of just like he kind of.
Wait, is he still here?
Yeah, he's still there. He's kind of like it's okay to his daughter, and she's just really sad and kind of nervous, and she's just like I don't like this weird person. And then he's kind of like, oh, you just don't know what, you're just foreign, And he kind
He's
of.
saying I'm foreign?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you are foreign.
You're not from around these parts.
I mean, it's
you would know.
true.
You probably don't understand some of the culture and traditions of Brunnogardt, and so Radimir's kind of like part of the tradition in the lands is that if your child dies, you go and you replace them with a hag.
Not what you were expecting.
You replaced your lost child with her.
Yes. And he's like, she's very special. She's still our daughter.
I mean, adoption's great. I'm fine
Can
with
I
that.
borrow some dice?
I ain't
left
gonna
mine in
judge.
the car.
I just wanted to say hi. You're wonderful.
You got the face of a
She's
hag.
probably
You're great.
gonna like pat her on the head and be like,
It's quite a compliment to be called a hag, at least a young hag. Because young hags are notoriously beautiful. They get more hideous as they get older, like rapidly. Hag puberty is rough. But they actually, when they are young, until they hit hag puberty, hags are like terrifyingly pretty. And actually have the ability to entrance people with they are absolutely terrifyingly pretty. It's supernatural. Because their ugliness is supernatural too.
aha. Yeah, she's probably just gonna pat her and be like, it's fine, no biggie. I just think you're amazing. Pat her on the head.
She kind of doesn't say much, but she looks a little less upset.
And I'll just shake my head and be like, okay, whatever. I've got things to do.
Remember, you're amazing.
Let me
Just
make.
walk off.
You're being strange again. You're wonderful.
Let me make a
Who
history
is
check.
strange?
Can I make a history check to see if
You
this
can
is,
absolutely do it
to
with
see if I know
advantage since you're a
and can
native.
explain and make this less awkward?
You're a native, yes. Roll twice.
I'm from around, maybe, but it was a terrible history check. It was like,
You get advantage. Roll twice.
yay,
I said it like 3 times. I'll say it again if you need
15.
it. Okay, 15. Yeah, you're aware of
Okay.
this, but it's not something people talk about very often.
Especially not in front of the daughter.
Well, it's not that. It's you don't talk about it much with other nations and other places because that would bring attention from other cults and other religions and things. People who don't like hags. So there's actual avoid witch hunters and things who would kill hags.
Rude.
So even if those hags are good, not everyone sees it that way, and some hags are very bad.
There you go.
Just because a hag is a nice mom does not mean the hag will grow up to be a nice person. Welcome to humanity.
Yeah, that's fine. Ku just loves people. She's like, cool, good on ya.
She loves people, loves making them feel really weird. Why are you nervous?
I see that you're nervous. Won't you tell
Let me make you more nervous.
So I see that I've offended you. How can I improve this?
I mean, honestly, that is probably
Yeah,
true.
that's what
I
I-
see this offended you. Let me make it right.
I don't know why you're offended.
I do not try to offend.
It's okay that you weigh as much as 3 grown cows.
Don't mind me. I'm missing my civic virtue. Some people are like, that's not a thing. It is.
At least you think it is.
At least I think it is. That is the story I go with.
So Warren is not going to do anything further with the situation until they leave, and then he can explain things. So
Yeah, I'm done.
he's got nothing going on. Anybody
Unless
else?
she's gonna say something, I have nothing.
No, Beryl she's kind of eager to get out of here. She wants to go do some stuff. Very important Beryl things to do.
I have a question. Did we just get out of the thing?
We are.
Just out of Radimir's mansion, yeah.
Out of the Well, we
No, you got out of the
Did you
well.
not
You were
wanna leave
basically
yet?
like immediately accosted by the only person who knows exactly where everything is, and her elite squad of unbrainwashed, shadowy people who were entirely aware but not gonna mess with it.
What
Wait,
time
what?
of day is it?
It's night.
I'm going to bed.
Fair enough.
I'm tired and hurt.
I am not. I want to go see the collector. By golly.
Tonight, you're not waiting until morning?
Nobody else knows about the collector.
Oh,
He's a shady guy.
you're thinking about.
I learned about it.
Was that in
you're
character
just-
or in mind?
You were thinking,
That's
I'm
out of
gonna
ca-
see the
That's
collector.
out of character.
Okay.
But she is determined on seeing this guy.
Like, I like the gold, but I need a bath and my clothes need a bath and my cat needs a bath. I'm gonna go.
Alright, I'll see. Before you leave, can I get you to
That's
do
surprising
animal
coming from
handling on the Mastiff one more time?
Okay.
It's really surprising coming from.
If you can make this one, it'll be good.
Okay. Okay, well, that's not gonna really work out. He's not. Maybe I smell funny. Because I'm covered in, like, supernatural tar, but it was only a 5. Hey, buddy. Oh, that didn't go very well.
Alright, well maybe I'll try on my own then. Oh,
Sorry
goodness,
about
me
that.
dice. Come on, buddy, you're almost there. Ooh, that's a 17 base plus I think plus 1 animal handling.
Alright. Cool.
Yay.
I'll succeed.
Yay.
Your dog is now able to be ridden without rolling.
Yay! Alright, well I'll hop on him and I'm gonna.
That said, you'll have to make an animal handling check if something scares him, just so you know. Or
Noted.
it's a him.
Ring with
I'm
the
calling
dog.
it a him because
Yeah. I
I
figured it
can't remember a female name, and I frankly don't know its name, and
doesn't have a name.
it's
I
a
tried
guy in
asking-
my mind.
I tried asking Jacob and he didn't help me
That's
out.
how that works.
Warren approves.
You ask a
and-
messenger boy about the gender of your dog. Yes,
No,
that's
about
very
a name
effective.
for the dog. I was like, hey, what name would you give a Mastiff? And he's like, I don't know.
He has
dog."
never owned an animal. He's
Name
Jacob.
him Gerald as I'm walking off
Name
to
him
my,
Jacob.
I'm a Gerald.
I'll think of it.
That's not rude at all to name a dog after you.
Yeah, that doesn't sound quite right. Alright, well, I'll jump on the dog and I'm gonna head off to Bug Dennis.
Okay, so everyone wants to do something. Who's going to take a long rest?
Me.
You?
Yeah.
You're all taking a long rest on the left side. The right side is people who want to pretend
We're
like they're
off to-
useful.
Go to the tavern
I
and
mean-
sleep.
All right,
I think we would
we're
be
going to do
at
this
that point.
in the order of people. Who's got the highest dexterity?
Who can move the fastest?
Yeah, basically.
Saving throw or
No, dex.
Just
What's your dex number?
Straight dex.
14?
Cool.
16.
Ah, Ku goes first. Ku, you're gonna go find the collector. Now, Jacob gave you a few directions on how to find the collector. There's a few odd ones. The collector's in the marketplace, but also he's not in the open marketplace, as any goods shop salesman is never in the open.
Hey.
They're always in the mess, kind of the grungy shanty town around the market.
Ah.
And that's where you're going to be headed. You know there's like 7 doors down on this small, tiny alley, and there's sort of a stall that's hunched. That one, you go around that one and into the back. There's a door there that's even more wrecked, and that's the one you knock on.
Cool.
And you know some thieves can't. You do the right knocks. As you do, you have criminal contacts. Very good.
Haha.
And you... Well, I need good music for this.
The witch's shop from a Carnage time.
That kind of actually. That sounds really good. I just...
What are you doing?
She's literally trying to do a vocal rendition of the Ocarina of Time Witch's Shop. So, I might actually look that up.
There you go.
So much
That was
stuff.
actually a different song, but
Potion Shop. I think that's the one.
we're about to find
10 hours? That sounds good enough.
Might be enough time.
All the time in the world. Yep, this is the music you hear.
Ah, that's fine.
You literally hear it. There's a tiny speaker.
And you kind of like, the door kind of opens, and there's this sort of like ratchety, like kind of pale hand that kind of peels the door back. But it doesn't open the door, it pulls the door slightly in. There's a little like, and then the door kind of swings lightly, and the hand just kind of like slithers back in. And you know, there's no come in. There's just the small knock of like, yeah, come in. But just like,
Cool.
against the door.
I'll walk in.
All right, you push the door open.
Yes.
How do you do that now? Now I want to know. You made a motion.
Well, I don't expect her to just like walk in Aragorn style.
I was
It's more
thinking
of a-
Kuzco, like, boom, baby. You know?
Oh, baby. No, she's not that self.
Oh, I mean, okay.
She loves herself, but she also loves other people and respects people, just not in large crowds.
Fair enough, I suppose.
So she'll probably just open it normally and walk in casually.
Okay. You begin to see a lot of rows. There's a lot of small desks, actually, like small cabinets. They're all, like, almost to your shoulders, which means they're about the hip to most people. They have all sorts of weird potions and weirder labels. The labels start in one language and end in another, and often they're in different colors. There are different marks all over them. You don't understand most of them. There's usually a couple symbols for thieves' cant, quick, and they're like generally really fast runes that are to like represent hand symbols or quick like repeated sounds, which is really weird to think about, but it's actually a legit thing that you know.
Cool.
And so you know, like, you notice the potion, this thing explodes, that thing makes smoke, you're like, this one is drinkable, you know, normal stuff like that. But you're not really sure what they are, and some of these colors are weird, and it's dark, and there's little candles just kind of on top of them, and they're really small, faint ones, and they smell kind of nasty. And there's just a whole bunch of these, and there's these little small doors as well that kind of go into more cupboards and, like, places, and it kind of goes all the way into the back, and there's this kind of hunched, cloaked figure at the very end, kind of that you're facing, and they've got small, like, kind of hideous white hands that are super pallid, and one of them's pinky is just like bent in the wrong way, and it's just moving as if that's normal. And yeah.
Everything about this sounds like a place I would like to be. Definitely.
I'm used to it. Shady back streets, man. I'll probably walk and be like, well, hi!
There's just a general motion. There's like a little to the noise. That's not actually something common, but it is. Well, give me a roll for history.
That is 19.
19. That's
I
not
love
bad.
high history. I love it.
You actually know that's a common sort of almost welcome sound for sort of a weird nation that's way farther to the south. It's no one's really sure the name anymore. It's so old that everyone in it's dead. This nation's so far to the west. Yes, west. West and south. And it's from the great, like, surrounded by deserts and horrible things. The people there are strange, but you've heard of them, and they do great trade. They often sell many interesting things, and often you get many old esoteric things from there.
Ooh.
But you also know it's not a human or humanoid noise that would normally be made. It's usually hard for humans to make.
Cool. She'll probably be like, ooh, I probably don't know that language. Thank you for that.
You know you don't.
How about we talk in Thieves' Cant? Do you know Thieves' Cant?
Obviously.
You say that in
Yes,
common.
I know thieves can.
She's gonna start talking in Thieves' Cant and be like, great, man! I have some things that I have no idea what they are. I need to find out what they are.
There's a gesture. Half of that's thieves can, half of that's just give it. You know,
Wait a second. You have
the
to promise
small
me.
desk in front. Pat, pat.
I will.
It's clear to spot. You know, there's actually a couple pages. It's slid over to the right.
Perfect. I need you to promise that you're gonna be honest with me and fair.
It's like what do you want?
We're talking in
Thieves can't. Yeah, forget
I know. I just don't want to be burned. You seem like a good.
How rude.
You seem like a good person.
How rude.
You seem like a good person. I've just been burned before. It's the shady streets. You never know.
Makes a gesture for I'm hurt. Like literally the gesture a thief would make when they've been injured. And like physical and they need assistance but can't be open about it. Yeah, that's the symbol it makes. But
Sorry.
it seems a bit snarky.
Just for my own sake. I'm gonna pull out actually quite a few different things. I'm gonna pull out the gold potion first
Okay.
and show it and be like, what is this?
Alright, you're gonna put it on the table where it's gestured? Okay, cool. There's a moment, it kind of leans forward a bit and pulls out like this small, like almost monocle looking thing. You know, it's kind of analyzing it a bit. It kind of looks around. There's a little bit of one of the hands just starts flicking it a bit. You know, it's kind of like searching for a sound. And you know, there's a little swirl. You know, it's doing a lot of analysis. It's actually rather complex. There's a moment where it kind of goes like, and there's this little like kind of glimmer to the liquid, and then it kind of puts it back down, and the glimmer goes away. And it's in Thieves' Cant really fast. This is actually toxic to drink. So it's like, don't drink.
Cool.
For use in transmutation, it's a quick magic symbol, because Thieves' Cant often deals with, you know, schools, which might be useful. Often, you know, because they borrow all their magic knowledge from, hey, official schools. And, you know, it's like, this kind of magic, for change things, don't use on people, don't use on thieves, basically. And, it says, basically, make harder. Make shinier.
Oh. So just to be clear, like, I would put this on something, preferably not a thief, but put it on something, and it will transmutate it.
Affirmative.
Cool. Thanks, man. I also have... I'm gonna pull out the iridescent glass shard. I got this into place. I don't understand.
Kind of takes your potion, puts it on the side.
Whoa.
Right next to you.
Oh,
like,
okay.
It's still like you can easily grab it. It's just not on the middle of the table where it can analyze things. You know, right
okay.
where it's sitting. It's kind of opening more space.
Okay. I'm
So-
probably gonna grab the potion as I put
Okay.
the other one back.
It's fine with that.
Yeah.
Put the shard on the table.
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't look too long for you to put it on the table, but it makes sure not to touch you. It's important.
What?
The collector does not touch you as you put it on the table, but it basically snatches it out of your hand when you put it on the table, and it's kind of piecing it around, and it's kind of holding it, you know, monocle's out, monocle's back, but it's kind of frustrated for a moment, and so it like brings out another hand, and so it's got another hand. This one has one less finger overall,
It's got 3 hands?
Yep. So far.
and that one's gonna hold the monocle for it while it holds it with the other 2 hands. But it's kind of careful after a moment. It kind of like brings out a small like brush and like starts brushing part of it. Almost like there's dust on it or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a moment and it's just like kind of weirded. There's like some jittery movements that aren't very human at all. You know.
We've
And,
established it's not human.
well, the collector pulls off its hood. Well, you don't see any of it really because there's still masks. But you are aware that this is a weird, inhuman thing. And you probably have heard about them, but you've never seen one. They're often just called collectors, and you've probably heard of that, but you've never actually gone to one. They're super, super restrictive. It's got one mask on each side of its head, as well as one in the front, and the rest is just still covered in just sort of this dark black cloth that looks like the funeral cloth you found in the temple on the statues. and it slowly like leans and then kind of faces different masks at it and kind of like holds it around its head in odd ways that look kind of adorable but also terrifying. Because, I mean, it's way taller than it looks when it's hunched over. You get the sense this thing is about 7 feet tall.
I feel like Ku's just like looking at it enthralled.
Yeah.
Being like, this is so cool.
One of the masks kind of like actually opens a bit, and there's this like chittering noise coming in, and another mask does a chittery thing back. And it kind of chitters amongst itself for a bit, and then it kind of puts it back on the table, brushes another part of it off, but then kind of goes back. Hood goes back on, and it's kind of like strange thing.
Tell me about it.
Never seen, but heard. And then it responds, bad for strange things too.
Can you elaborate on that?
It kind of uses a symbol you're not familiar with, at least unless you've been incredibly interested in beast hunting, which I don't think you have.
No.
That's what I thought. Yeah, Warren would have known. Shoot. Oh well.
Warren didn't
It
want
makes-
to come.
It makes a
Warren
symbol.
would probably be gone after all the masks and the cheater.
There's like a. It brings its
Open my
fingers
way out.
together. It does this sort of wiggle motion, and you know the first few are like this kind of monster. You know, which is usually used in Thieves' Cant for warning people about something up ahead or some creature on the loose, and but it's like this kind of thing is, you know, this thing, fatal this thing. And so it tells you that this is incredibly damaging to a type of creature, but you're not sure what.
Make a spear out of it.
Question. Before I ask this next question.
Yeah, go for it.
Does Ku know that that was an aboleth? That they fought?
I would say no.
Okay.
You would only know that it was a vile thing, a strange thing. You might make that connection.
Do we know about that?
I'm probably gonna ask some. Is it
The
bad
only
for like?
person who might know is you. And Warren probably didn't specialize in aboleths or aberrations. I know you specialized in monstrosities.
Check.
So I probably ask. You know, is it damaging on creatures that like come out of oil and have tons of hands and things like that?
It's like it makes a gesture for like kind of a place that a thief is working. You know, a theft place. It's kind of a weird word. There's not one for that, but it's basically like a dungeon or a house somewhere you're looting as a thief, and it makes that symbol, and it's like that, other that.
I'm not sure I understood that.
So it kind of like shakes one of its heads. Only one shakes. The other ones are still, and it goes like nation, place of robbing, and then it goes. It makes a gesture for magic, place of robbing.
It said a monster that was damaging to a certain type of monster. So when I asked the monster, it said a magical place.
It said that you're like where, like, it's trying to communicate particularly about what you just asked, but it's having trouble doing the symbols in Thieves' Cant. And it's also having trouble understanding like how to communicate this to someone who has no idea. Because this isn't something thieves normally talk about. And it makes a few motions, and then it's like a door, magic place, and then it does kill strange creature.
So this thing kills a strange creature. We'll just put it at that. I think it's the same creature. Is it just tell me if it's yes, oily creature.
It kind of is like,
It doesn't
You know,
know what the-
Okay, fair enough. I'll just try it on things.
it's like which one? You know, like literally, there's like describe one of many.
Okay, fair. I'll try it on weird creatures and see what happens with it. As long as it damages things. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Next, I'm gonna pull out the flower coins first, the silver flower coins.
Okay.
Be like, I think these are fine,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
So you put them on the table.
Yeah.
So it gives you your shard back.
Yep.
In sort of a weird roundabout way, it pushes it to the side and towards you. You know, it makes space, but also like returns it. It checks out the coins. It kind of like, it seems very familiar with the coin. There's not a lot of it. It doesn't bring out the monocle. There's nothing. It just picks up coin and just kind of stares at it for a bit. You know,
Disapprovingly.
one finger just like traces the marks on one of the coins, and then it kind of gives it back. You know, as it's done with the other ones, and it's just like old coin or old treasure, I guess, is what it's called. You know,
Cool.
old
Is
treasure,
it valuable?
and it's like to some.
Do you want it?
It responds like 10 gold per coin.
That's pretty valuable.
Yeah. I'll keep 2 if you want the other 20.
It's kind of like, It sings, and then it's like, okay. And it kind of like begins to use its third arm to count coins while it, like, you know, kind of readjusts its desk a bit, brings over one of its papers and begins to write. You can tell it's keeping track
Right.
of numbers and stuff, so it's literally counting every single coin on paper. And yeah, it gets every single gold coin onto the table, kind of shows it to you, so you can investigate and make sure, as, you know, a fair thief would do.
I appreciate
And then, you know, grants you like a small, like, it takes a bag. It kind of reveals the bag, you know, like a magician about to do a trick. And then it puts the coins in the bag so you can see everything, and it's very, like, over the counter, like, very obvious. So it's like, I'm not stealing.
I approve.
And then it gives you a bag of 10 gold coins per coin you give, and that was 20?
Yep, so that's 200.
Yeah, so it's a lot. In some of these, like, you notice that it's not actually 200 gold coins, but some of them are actually like the larger coin that's supposed to be another set up of gold coins, which you've seen in the other payment you got as well. There's a larger number of gold coin, but people don't trade those very often because they're big. It's like giving someone 100.
Cool.
Yep.
Yay!
But you have at least one of those, and don't lose it.
Don't get it
Does it go
stolen.
in here?
Yeah,
I'm just
but it's
gonna-
actually a decent bag. It's not too heavy for you, and that's remarkably considerate.
That is very considerate. I appreciate you so much, sir.
He's a pretty straight up guy.
I know. I just love him.
It wouldn't have stopped Warren from noping out, but he's pretty cool.
Noping out. I have 2 other things, man.
All right. As you do, it brings over like a flask and like pours it into one of the masks. Not the mouth hole, by the way, the eye hole.
I love it.
And it's just there's kind of a soft gurgle.
I
Good
take
on you,
back
bro.
everything I just said.
He'd be out. I'm gonna give him the small iridescent jar with the dark tadpole in it.
Okay. It's like you know, taps it a bit. You know, it makes a simple strange monster, and kind of makes a gesture at dagger at the crystal shard that it gave you, the iridescent glass shard.
That it works on it.
Yeah, it points to these, and then it's like illegal to trade. You know, so it's like it's thief trade, right? They don't say illegal, but it does. It's definitely like smuggled is the word, and you know, smuggled, usually dangerous. Purchased for 6 silver. It's not much else. It's just like, you know, it's a pretty common thing for it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not looking to keep it. I just wanted to know what it was. If you want it.
It's like
It was a slat baby.
it makes like a gesture, and it pulls up a book from one of its shelves, kind of flips a few pages, and kind of brings it out. You know, it's got a weird set of languages. It's a book written in like 10 languages, like grossly written in 10 languages, so that like each page has 10 languages on it. And like hints are in different letters and different symbols, and there's like a diagram of like the frog monster you fought, sort of, or something like it. You know, you can tell it's the same race, and you know it's like it goes through like some of their life cycle, and it's really messy, and you're like, what? But it points to the small little tadpole thing on it, and it's like this, you know.
I saw a thing like
And
that.
it's like really bad English too, like those Chinese
Definitely.
imported things that are like.
It's been through like Google Translate like 10 times. Yeah.
Definitely. So it's like the frog thing that I saw before.
Yeah. It makes like a little gesture and like point, you know? And so it's like, but instead of it just being this, it's like this to this to this to this to this to this.
Phew.
Yeah. That's what it turns into, right? I still don't.
Yes.
Can I make it my pet if I like take care of it?
I'm pretty sure it was dead.
That's true.
It makes a message. It's like, can tame. It kind of brings out like small crystals. In fact, it brings out this small like sort of circular thing that's like a perfect marble, but it's sort of this red, kind of bloody looking marble.
Ah.
And it's like, makes a point, and it shows in the diagrams, there's ones of this kind of like, almost cross-section of these kind of like circle things being put into kind of the slads throughout their life cycles. And, you know, it also references there's a normal one in it. And it's like, make accomplice.
So the orb makes it an accomplice.
Makes accomplice using magic, enchantment. Can be dangerous, you know, smuggled. So it's like caution, police, and
Keep it in its Pokeball, don't let people see it.
but it is like, can be pet, but caution.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure it's dead,
Cool.
though.
It's like,
I seem to recall it was dead.
it hasn't moved once since you've been in there, and it hasn't moved since you put it in the pouch, at least not much. But it makes gesture to, it flips a few pages, and there's a small necromancy ritual in this book. And it's like, make this, you know, and
Yes.
It offers you kind of really fast. It actually like has like 3 other hands just slither out and start like
We're at 6.
rapidly writing the page, like they're duplicating it. And it makes a copy, and it's like 3 silver. And you didn't buy this from me.
Yes, I'm totally down.
All right, it's going to hand the page to you, and it kind of, but it doesn't let go until you offer the silver.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
give him the 3 silver like.
It's like
like
literally
that, so
a
it
2-hand trade,
knows.
and it's slow, like
Definitely.
terrifying slow. And then one of the other hands just like goes away from the copying and like begins to write down on the paper as well that it was tracking before.
Perfect. So just to be clear, I do this necromancy ritual on it secretly. And wait, can I get the orb from you? Because I have to put the orb in the tadpole for it to be my friend.
All right.
Yes?
It holds up like 1 silver and orb, and it like kind of is like
Yeah.
to
I
gesture
just-
like 1 silver for the orb.
Yes. Do I need more than 1 orb?
It kind of responds no.
Okay.
It's just like, as older orb less powerful, get new orb,
Ah, okay.
bigger orb.
Perfect. I assume I get that on the black market.
It's like, where else?
And Q's gonna go the way of her mom when this thing gets bigger because it's gonna eat her.
If that's actually the way her mom went, that'd be hilarious.
Make this my friend! And this is there's a monstrosity with 9 eyes.
I learned from my mom to make friends with everything.
So is that all you were gonna do? It makes a motion of like anything else.
One more thing. Well, first I'm gonna trade my silver. What more could I?
It just tosses you the orb. It's
Cool.
not worth as much as the paper,
Yes,
but it does
I
take the
did.
silver, writes it down.
We are honest here. Honest dealers, man. I'm a pull off.
It kind of like makes a little flicky gesture with one of its hands. And what's your passive perception again?
16?
Cool. So you do notice like above each of the entryways there's like a little flick, and part of each of the entryways is like this eye. It's just like
That's
one of them blinks, and they looked like they were wood.
Ah.
And so it's kind of giggling, I guess, with one of its hands, but nothing else. Just one of the hands is just kind of making like weird giggle motions.
I love it. Okay, one more thing, and I'm gonna pull the ring off of my pinky finger. It's definitely on the pinky finger.
It-
Be like,
Kind of reaches out and like pokes it a bit, and it kind of picks it up, for a moment.
she's also gonna be like, this is very important to me.
It puts it on a hand, takes it off, puts it on a hand, takes it off, puts it on its nose, takes it off.
Bring up.
It's- It kind of just messes with it a bit, it flicks it a bit, and it's just like, it's like ring unresponsive, so no sound, so the ring is quiet.
Okay.
Does a flick, it kind of, there's the glimmery thing around the ring as well, as was the potion earlier. It's like enchantment, there's magic, ring quiet.
I know it's magic. I need to know how to make it activate. Like why it did the thing it did when it did that one time.
It doesn't know the thing it did.
It doesn't. That's the funny thing.
It brings one of its
It's
books,
exactly
a
that.
different one, up to one of its faces and reads kind of while it's looking at you. And there's a moment of it just like doing stuff with it. It takes out a coin, it kind of rubs the coin against it for a moment. There's a moment where it like flicks the coin, like the ring around, and there's one where it slaps the ring on the table, but nothing happens. And it's just like kind of confused. It puts a little water on it. It's like doing a whole thing of like science. There's a little fire actually. One of its hands kind of goes and like snaps.
Yeah.
And there's like this tiny little flame, and it's just kind of like trying to burn it from one side. Nothing happens.
It's like,
It's kind of like really stumped.
yeah.
Bring some hair.
Kind of slaps around, closes the book after like looking at it weirdly, and then it kind of like reaches out a hand, kind of like pokes you, and draws a little blood, and then like runs it around the circle of the ring, and the ring starts to like vibrate a bit, and it's like, I did it. And so like ring loud, and gives it back to you.
So, if my blood gets on it, something will happen.
It's like, it makes a gesture of you, failure, and then it makes
Yes, I know I am
it makes
failure.
running. It makes like action, like do, proceed. It makes motions for like things happening.
Like, things are happening on the ring now.
It makes it the gesture as in if you succeed or fail, that and the ring activate.
Okay, so if I'm active, then it's just gonna automatically do something.
Negative failure.
When I fail, something will happen.
But it also brings back the finger that's got still drop of blood and is like failure.
I'm a failure?
No, points to the blood.
So if I fail,
It's
just
in
put
your
my
blood.
If you
It is in my blood.
In your
I am a failure within my blood, my whole family.
It's just really depressed
I
now.
can
And
just
it's
see
it's kind of
all of the hands going up in like this endless
it
face.
actually
palm in
doesn't,
its
but there's a
face.
moment where the heads just sort of like roll, and the head just sort of like spins slowly in this gross, inhuman way. And there's just this soft like clicky noise that each of them are making. And it's unsure what's going on for you.
I think she lost more than her civic virtue with Brandavaris.
Oh no, she's just that. I'm pretty sure she just acts stupid, even though like she has high intelligence. She just
Oh my goodness.
doesn't.
Anyway, so it gives you the ring back and just makes the motion of, failure, and then it makes the motion of death, and then points to the ring.
Cool.
It's trying to clarify, but it's also kind of done. Then it makes a small motion. It's just like consultation fee.
Yeah. Do you want this wine?
You
I
have
do
wine?
have white berry wine.
It takes the wine and nods very politely and kind of is like weighing it a bit. Its writing kind of stops on its like record keeping for a moment, and it's kind of like looking at it. There's a bit of shaking. It actually like pops it and sniffs it. This time with like, a different mask than the other one that it puts stuff
The
in.
different eye hole mask.
It's not actually the eye hole this time. It actually like kind of like smells it to the ear. It's almost like it doesn't know which orifice is normally used. But anyway,
I'm okay with that.
it pops the thing back on and it's like change, and then it gives like small. It like starts to like bring out a small thing, but it's like. And so instead, what it does is it actually brings out its magnifying glass again.
Yeah.
Its little monocle thing that's like really weird. But this time, it kind of like gestures in front of it weirdly with a hand. There's like kind of gross sparks. And it like darkens the glass and the glass begins to shake. And there's these weird symbols on it and it's like staring at you.
What?
There's all sorts of weird lights. And you begin to feel really weird, and it's like someone's like crawling through you, and there's a moment where it kind of like puts its hand into the glass on its side and like pulls, and you feel like your soul is being pulled open, and it's just like it sticks a finger in and just like swishes around and nothing happens for you, and then it pulls back and it's just like missing something.
What? She's probably like, what the heck just happened?
Do you want the wine or not?
I thought it was just regular wine.
No. Return change. Too
Okay.
pricey. Too treasure.
This
Not
is too much
fair
of a
trade.
treasure. It's not a fair trade.
It puts the wine away, but it's like, well,
It takes
It
out your
wants
soul.
something more.
Oh, it wants my soul.
No, it's giving you back some change. Like, you
Well,
gave
like,
it something
it
that's
gives
worth
you
10
back your
gold, it's
civic
giving you
virtue.
back some life force worth 5 gold or something.
it says strange creature touch, strange creature take.
Something
So
else.
thief stole part.
Of the wine.
You've been stolen from.
I've been stolen from. Wait.
And it's
Wait, is it my thing?
It stole your police.
Yeah, it's your civic
Yeah.
virtue.
Yeah, I knew that. I'm missing that. Yes.
And so it makes a gesture, it pulls out a map and like begins to like roughly draw on it with fingers for a moment and just like tracing it, and it like
Our new quest.
New quest!
it pulls out like this orb, like a crystal ball, and just kind of like weirdly does things, and like it's kind of a weird thing that it does. Really, it's almost like this sort of like little like voodoo dance, but the thing, it's really weird when it has 3 faces and more than enough arms. But then there's a moment where it breaks the orb on the map and like cracks it like an egg, and this nasty like kind of almost glitter stuff just hits the map and then just starts to burn. And it's just this weird moment, it like tosses the orb shell into like a trash can of sorts, or at least like a corner that's dirty, and then it kind of whips the map up and down and kind of gives it back to you, and there's no place names on it, but it looks like a map of Yansethia. And it's got like certain dots on it of like hints of where you might go.
Hey.
And it's got like
nice.
little X's in red. And they kind of make weird trails, and there's like weird ones, and it's like It's like tracking.
So it's tracking him?
So it gives it to you, and it's like fair trade now.
I approve. I
Nice.
approve of this
Anyway,
trade.
so it's kind of done. It just kind of folds its arms back up, and it looks like it was when you came in. Just simple, kind of hunched over person.
Thank you. I don't know what thank you is for this culture, but
You know, thieves can't thank you.
yes. I just want to like bow or something without it being disrespectful.
Well, you can bow if you want to.
Yeah, be like a thank you.
Bow. It kind of bows back just a little bit. It kind of bobs the head a bit.
Awesome.
And
It's gonna be like the map from Harry Potter. What was it called?
The Mirage map.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
Not really. But it does show a whole bunch of marks, and it has one word on it. Do you know... What languages do you know?
I know Common and Gnomish.
Is that it?
Okay, that's it.
All
It's
that it gave.
barely understandable then, but you kind of get the gist that this is a name.
I could do a knowledge
Proper
check.
noun. Give me a knowledge check.
Knowledge?
It would be something in intelligence.
Give me an intelligence check of something you think appropriate.
I think.
'Cause I'm
Arcana?
not sure. Yes, give me an Arcana check.
Where'd my dice go? Oh, it's
Well, there
right
should be
in
in
front of
front
me.
of you. Sorry, this is taking
There's
a
so
while.
many
That's
different types
exciting
of
for
dice
you.
that I
Oh,
have.
that's fine.
It's not bad.
I'm thoroughly entertained by this terrifying thing that I'm glad I missed out on.
It's great.
You're
Don't
not
be
having a
offended to
dream
hear
of
that,
it.
you know.
That's 16.
Only her character, though, not her.
Alright. So you know a few names. You don't know this one exactly, but you've seen names similar to it. It seems like it's more of a two-part name. Kind of, they often chunk them together. They take like the first root of some big name, and then they tie on the second one immediately after, and that's usually a name for some kind of like mystical, supernatural thing. You know, so it's a big, long, dwarvish name, at least on the front and back side of it, but there's a lot of like weird sounds in it that aren't really dwarvish, and you know that. And some of those seem to be a bit gnomish, and so that's how you get your knowledge from. You kind of get the sense that it's trickster.
Okay.
You get the root of trickster. It's mutilated in a gross way to say it, but yes.
But essentially it says trickster.
You know that there's trickster as a meaning somewhere in there.
Okay. So what I know about the name is that it's supernatural. It's a supernatural name.
It would
That
it's
means trickster.
yeah, it's like the scientific name for a supernatural thing.
Cool.
The supernatural tricks.
This helps me. This makes me so happy.
And it's just kind of done.
Yep, I'm done. Everything else I can definitely just like
All right, you heading out?
yeah.
All right,
I'll
as
go
you
somewhere
do,
else.
you're acutely aware of all of the eyes slowly following you above each door, and
Probably like salute the
You know.
last one going out the door.
the eye kind of like makes this weird like sort of roll. It kind of spins around a bit and kind of like looks at you. It has no like eyelid or anything, so it doesn't actually blink.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so they are out, and you head back to the inn, I suppose, because it's the middle of the night and you're super tired after fighting a giant monster.
Yep.
All right, now we got a coup.
Not coup.
That
Not
was
coup, Berl.
cute. Yeah,
Look, don't get too crazy. I have a lot of names to remember. I have a whole book of them.
it's okay. That happens. I keep calling myself Q all the time, too.
Everyone wants to be
That's
coup.
because everybody wants to be coup.
I mean,
Even
realistically
I'm coup.
speaking,
Let's be honest.
I don't want to make this too long or frustrating. So,
Yeah.
Kylie, give me. No, actually, Kylie. Interesting. You are on the road to Bogdanus. You will face three quick experiences. We all know how this goes.
Yep.
Okay, good.
They're all mushrooms.
You're faced with
They're all mushrooms.
kind of a weird inversion of the last few times you've been. There are two equally same paths. There are no differences, left or right.
I'd take a left.
Okay, you go left and you end up exiting from the right now
Oh.
to a new path that converges with another path and goes forward. This one splits again up ahead just a little bit. There are a whole bunch
That was
of
great.
strange black dogs staring at you.
Oh, look
There are
at
two paths. You can go through them or around them.
I'll look at my dog
I'll see if I
and
tried
see
that.
what he thinks, if he's willing to go, which way he wants to go.
Your dog is staring back. They are exactly mirrored by your dog. It turns its head to the side, they tilt their heads to the side.
I guess we'll go the way that the dogs are not, because I don't want to run into them. I think
Alright.
that's probably what'll happen.
Okay. Alright. Give me a roll for... Give me a wisdom save.
Well, that's not bad though. Makes 18.
Okay. Then, yeah, things are pretty good. You go around, the dogs kind of sit down. But your dog's leaving and they don't mirror him. And you just kind of go around and, there's sort of this moment where your dog just seems sadder now.
Aw, I'm sorry, buddy.
And just seems slower and less powerful than before. You go further onward, there's this path that now diverges, and there's a path that goes through an old hut that's just half collapsed, but you can tell it goes straight through. And then there's a path that goes through this sort of underhang of rock as well, and they kind of dodge this little swampy middle ground.
Well, you would think that the obvious safe path is the one to take, so we're gonna go through the hut.
Okay. Give me a roll for dexterity saving throw.
Of
One
course.
does not simply go to Bogdanus.
No, that's a 20. Not nat.
Okay. As you go through, this kind of strange person just kind of was following you, and you're not sure why or when they started, but they kind of made this motion to touch you, and you dodged back, and they kind of recoiled a bit and kind of slithered past one of the walls and kind of out of sight, and your dog didn't even notice it. And you just walk through.
Okay.
And hey, now you're at Bogdana's house. And I think
Yay.
this music's fitting for her too, frankly. But yeah, so you knock on the door, what do you do?
Yeah, we'll just probably knock and open the door.
Oh, do come in.
Yes. Hello again.
No, wrong door.
Wrong door.
There's a thump, and this sort of ladder rolls down from one of the windows.
Oh, okay.
And she's up here today.
Okay, sorry boy, you gotta stay right here. Leave the dog and climb up the ladder.
Okay. You do, but you get on the ladder and the ladder just rolls up with you. So the ladder just pulls you in. And you kind of actually, it's actually rather tight. It looks like the window was big, but as you get in, it's rather small.
Okay.
There's a bit of a cramp for a moment, and then you just get shoved through by the ladder.
Okay.
And
that hurt.
then you find yourselves in much larger of a room.
Oh, okay.
And kind of Bogdana's just in there, just sort of standing there. And she's just sort of waiting. It's a mostly empty room. There's soft carpet, but there's also this sort of almost tiled floor in the middle that she's standing on. And there's just sort of this sort of weird chandelier thing and stuff going on. It's kind of hard to say it's a chandelier because all the candles are hanging upside down, and it's just the chain isn't actually connected to the ceiling. It's just hanging onto the floor. But
Yeah. You're innovating up here today.
Oh, she's I'm practicing. And she's perfectly still.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't want to interrupt your practice for too long.
Oh, she's oh, the best part about dancing is being social.
I'll stay and chat a while for a spell, I guess. So, I'm sure you probably already know I'm here, because you know everything.
I don't know anything, that's the real question.
Alright. Oh, goodness, where do I even start? So, I've got a burning...
Make it quick, dearie. If you ask too many questions, you'll lose all your answers instead of just a few.
Alright, well, I don't want to do that. I've got a burning question on my mind, and I need some help.
Alright. I'll do what I can.
Yes, do please. So, when we went to the Temple of the Order, we found the Vials Chosen. And we had a bit of an encounter with that guy, and then we left the room, and we went through another room, and we went back to try to go to the Chosen's room, and he wasn't there. And I'm trying to find where is he now, and how do I find him?
She kind of takes a moment to think, and she's just like, Well, I don't know exactly where he is. I don't actually follow people very often. It's not very polite. She's like, are you sure you didn't imagine it?
Pretty sure. I mean,
Oh, she's like, oh, you know those dark things. They like to make you think things are real.
I do.
And then they're not.
I was kind of pull out
You
the
think
needle.
you're having the best time in the world, and that turns out you're just talking to a flower. That flower was so rude.
Kind of pull out the needle and like wiggle it around a bit. And like, it's kind of, I don't know, it felt pretty real to me.
Yeah, she kind of just is like, yeah, everyone has their own opinions and perspectives.
Might I share your secret?
You know, she takes a different position now. She's kind of like turned so she can see you. And then she's kind of like, but she pauses in the most uncomfortable position she can possibly do. And it's kind of almost like weirdly bad. Like, and she's, you know, you're really aware of just how warty she is now. Like, she's just in a position that no human should be in, or anyone. And she's just like, you'll find him. I don't have perfect knowledge of everyone, unfortunately. But I can say that if you find more power that he's connected to, then you'd probably end up with him as well.
Find the more power that he's connected to?
Well, surely you don't think that, you know, any great, terrible evil only has one influence on the world. I'm sure there's somewhere else where its power is present. You could find that. Wouldn't it be drawn there? Wouldn't you be drawn there if that's where your employer was paying you?
I got
Hey.
12.
So he's
Everyone goes home eventually.
he's not in the temple anymore, then I guess?
Probably not. I don't go back to prison very much. I was only there for a few years, but might I say, so boring. And by boring, I mean it was the best time of my life. Oh, don't die over there.
Alright.
You just hear a voice.
Beryl is feeling a little, not really disheartened, but disappointed, I guess.
For a moment there, Bogdan actually looks up to the ceiling and she's like, you alright there? There's no response, by the way, Berl. She's just looking at the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I just chalk it up to it's body to know she does stuff like that.
She does?
She actually rolled a nat 20 on perception.
Wait, shoot, what?
She just perceived the table, by the way. So Bogdana saw Anna coughing and asked if she was okay.
Yeah, basically.
Oh!
That's why he was looking at you.
Like,
Fine, thanks.
when supernatural things get rolls that are nat 20s, they do weird things. It's,
Right.
I love it.
it's just a thing, okay?
That's great.
No, I love it.
Oh, the joke's
So-
dead.
So Beryl's feeling a little disappointed now. She's really got it, well, I guess I'll
What was
find
the
it.
other question again?
I want to know. So I'll hold up the needle again and I'll be like, what happened to the quartermaster?
What happens to everything?
Well, I mean, obviously, but his was not normal. He didn't-
No.
So how did he go out?
She kind of doesn't move, but the needle comes over to her anyway, as if she had just reached over and picked it up. It like literally does the motion, but without her. And, you know, it goes back, and then for a moment it sits there, and then she does the motion, but the needle stays there. And then there's, you know, this united moment of her being with it in the normal way, as if nothing had happened. And she's just like, if you want to do something, you have to pay something, right?
With this thing, yeah, you do.
Right? With all things, really, it's just a matter of perspective. And if you take something away from somebody else, you'll lose that thing eventually too. So there's a moment when she's like for example, she snaps your needle in two, and then for a moment her arm breaks, and she's just like, oh. and it just like slithers back in, and the arm just kind of disappears for a while, and it's just there's like no arm there. And she's just like, see what I mean? And she gives it back to you, and the needle, of course, disintegrates and reforms in your hand.
Right.
But she's just like, see what I mean? There's always a price, and for those with power, more so.
Okay.
Does that give you an answer, or at least make you more curious?
I think a little of both, yeah.
Excellent.
Well, it definitely sounds like we might run into him in the future.
Yeah.
Poor sap that he is. Poor tormented thing.
I kind of wanted to try something with him, but...
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think we'll be able to this session.
Well, maybe not now. Patience is a virtue. At
Wait.
least that's what I was told.
Alright, well...
If it helps, I think we all wanted to do something with him, but we all went back and he was gone. We're like, dang.
That's true. Yeah, so he got out somehow, and who knows where he's
Or
at.
vanished.
Next giant pool of oil, I guess. Another leak in the vial's seal. We can't get down back
No.
through the well.
Well, hopefully not this vial. She kind of taps her nose. But she's like, well, there's always more than one. After all, if there's one, there's two. If there's two, there's three. And if there's three, well, there's at least 14 of them.
I'll
no,
kind
she's
of
got a
glance
point.
at the red book because Berl has been looking at that from the side, and she's like, yeah, I think that makes more sense now. So...
That I had 2 garlic.
She kind of like pulls a mirror, like a small pocket mirror, just out of her clothes, which are a little raggedy today. You know, she's got it, and she's not looking at it, she's looking at the back of it. And as she looks at the back of it, wherever she faces it to is suddenly got tons of, like, glorious golden gilding, and it looks like you're looking at some rich king's ballroom. And she's like, oh dear, my reflection's so terrible today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what to say. Berl's had a long day.
How about you take a look? She hands it to you backwards.
Alright, I'll look at it backwards.
Alright, as you do, nothing happens. It seems to be a pretty normal mirror, but you do notice it still projects the gilding and the furniture that isn't there into the room.
Wave it around a little bit and just kind of examine the surroundings.
Yeah, and it looks like you are in a grand noble hall that you'd be pretty familiar with. You'd see all sorts of tables and chairs finely carved and only the best.
Right, this is...
And she's just like, she just sort of smiles at you, totally unaware.
I was like, it's kind of bringing memories back of home. And I'm like, I don't want to go back home. Oh, on the mirror back.
And she's like, oh, keep it. I love giving favors.
I know you do. I still have that watch. the watch.
Did you do it? Did you use the watch?
Not yet. What
Oh
is it?
dear.
What, I don't really know.
Oh, time's run out. She picks the watch up, and then she takes a moment, and then she smashes it on the table, and she's just like, there's never enough time.
Aw. I want to have fun with that.
She hands it to you, smash it too.
Alright.
You do, let's see what happens.
There is
Alright.
no reality in this world.
There is reality. Bogdan just happens to make her own. And,
I reject your reality.
as you
Substitute my own.
as you slam the watch down, there's a moment where the table that wasn't there, by the way, just begins to form around your hand, and things in the room begin to like return to existence as if crawling up from the dust. And you're beginning to be pulled into the table slightly,
Okay.
and she just kind of giggles to herself. She's like, "Oh dear, you've fallen for the trap."
Aye.
You
Okay.
don't have Grog to save you from this one. Yeah, we're gonna develop a fear of Grogs and tables.
But she grabs the watch from you, and she's just like, "Oh dear," and instead she kind of just holds it for a bit, and she's just kind of like, "Oh, but this won't do anymore. Time's gone," and she just kind of throws it away, and it's gone. But she does manage to, like, you know, she flicks the mirror a bit that you have in a kind of odd, weird way. Hands aren't supposed to go there very easily. you know, you're still kind of being pulled into the table, and she's just like, oh, well, but that mirror might be better. Anyway, who knows? Maybe the watch was a stupid watch anyway.
Maybe it was.
And then she kind of just like, well, it's time for you to go back. And she kind of grabs you and shoves you into the table, and you slide right into it, and you find yourself laying in your bed at the end.
And I wanted to go to the temple and meditate.
Well, now you're in bed.
Hey.
You can meditate here.
Did she get there before me?
As you basically kind of hear on the wind, there's just the soft like, you need your rest.
I do need my rest.
And that's that.
Alright.
Alright, everybody else is resting now and doing their long rest. Everyone who got a long rest gets to do one thing because long rests are a full rest. You have time just enough to do one short thing.
I take a bath.
Wait, we get a long rest
And Ku,
too,
yes,
right?
she's there before you.
I come in, I'm like, whoa!
You actually didn't know that she was going anywhere.
That's true.
So you think it's absolutely normal.
Yeah, this is fine. I take a long rest.
Cool.
I think what I'm doing is I'm going to the tavern place where we go to sleep, and I'm going to go to my bed, and I'm going to fall in my bed, and hopefully not break it, and then go to sleep. I think that's what I'm going to do for my thing before I go to sleep.
Okay.
I think Grog is laying in bed groggily, and he's making piles with his thousands of gold coins.
Fair enough. Does he smash them?
And he's smashing them, and then
But
just like
does he
lightly
smash it by like tapping them and watching them fall
No,
over?
it's more like hand smash. He just like smashes them down, and they like collapse.
Yeah, okay.
And then he like builds it back up, and then smashes it again.
That's therapy.
And that's how he winds down.
I like
You
it.
know, preps for bed.
Yeah. All right, Warren. What does Warren do?
Warren took a bath and now he's in bed and he sleeps.
Gotta get that beauty,
Does he have bunny slippers?
No.
like legitimate bunny slippers,
Like
like
actual
actual
skin
rabbits,
rabbits.
because you're a ranger. You know, it's funny.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Terrifying. That's like horrible, but also hilarious.
They're not well made, and like it's like the
They're
head
like really
doesn't look very
grotesque.
good.
You think they're cute. Everybody else is horrified.
That would explain a few things, actually. Anyway,
But yeah,
all
I
right.
think all we did was long rest.
Okay, so everybody, you all get a long rest, but those who went to bed without doing the mini adventure all get a slight bonus because you guys on your mini adventures got stuff you wanted.
Yeah.
So they get something instead. And you guys all get well rested, which means that I'm going to let you guys get one lucky reroll
Okay.
For what?
until
Whatever.
you guys basically just get an inspiration. You know, because they didn't get as much time.
Okay.
And I want to reward them for their patience.
Okay, first thing that Warren's gonna do is sit her down and be like, "What happened to you with the hands? It's been killing me." And so she explains that story, and he finally like is satisfied.
Wait, I think he's gonna say that, and she's like, "Which time?"
We were the first time when we were. Where were we exactly?
In the temple.
Was that the temple?
Yeah.
With the torture dungeon?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because I was pulled
When
into
we
the torture
were-
dungeon.
In the temple, and you just vanished, and I tied myself to Nakia's calf for like 4 hours because I was terrified of also
I
being
did not
grabbed.
appreciate that, by the way.
I remember you
She's
were getting
probably
like
gonna
dragged
laugh
down the
and then
hall.
tell you.
And then you had untied at some point.
And then in return he says, like, by the way, around this
I
town,
believe the
if people end
volume
up
is
with
so good.
stillborn new babies, they give them to the hags who eat them and then rebirth them in new life, but they are also hags, clones of the original hag.
Grog comes down like halfway through this conversation.
Is it
Before or after the eat
What?
part?
Yeah, what the heck are you talking
Right when,
about?
right when you
Still a
describe
kid,
them
but
eating
also-
babies, that's when Grog was in.
He's like, y'all people are messed up.
This is why orcs
Bring
are
the
better.
child back to life, but also recreate them as hags. And it's probably a very sensitive subject, so that's why she was probably nervous. So now you know, because you looked confused earlier.
She probably looks a lot more confused now.
She's
She's
probably
more
like,
horrified.
Roll a persuasion check, Warren. Let's see what you actually get.
wait, do I roll against that?
Only if you don't want to understand.
17. I have -1 persuasion.
That's all.
Who doesn't know anything? Now who's trying to like...
Can it just be to pretend to not know anything? Like she gets it
Absolutely.
subconsciously, but
Really,
it's
that's
like
when you get to do what you want.
subconsciously she definitely knows
You
exactly
absolutely
what it is.
understand, but you're able to feign ignorance so well that Warren thinks that he has totally, absolutely failed at describing it and continues for at least an hour.
She thinks I got less knowledge. Like she took away knowledge.
Keeps on explaining the eating babies part, and by the time the hour is over, like everybody's staring.
Oh no!
They eat the babies, and then
And she just yells, they eat them!
Grog's rolling on back up to bed. This is too much for right now.
Okay, so now that that's done, I'm gonna go see Hugh, see how he's doing. Anybody want to come?
I want to see how.
I just found this map. Well, I didn't find it. Someone gave it to me. But I need to follow this map.
You've got a map.
I've got a map.
We can do that
got a map.
tomorrow.
Wait, how does that song go?
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. That one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a taker. Okay, we go over to Hugh's house.
Well, so you do know that he's the son of Lady Melinda.
sorry, right,
He's in the mansion.
Right.
His house is technically within like
the other one, Ingo.
Ingo.
The one whose house we could approach.
The one that's less stony. That's good because I was about to like, oh man, I have to roleplay this again.
If we totally went into the mafia lady's house
again.
She'd probably be in his better mood.
So who's
they
going with you for
totally
Hugh?
come and be like,
I thought you
Hey! Nobody.
Yeah.
I didn't mean Hugh. I'm going into see
kind of
Ingo.
wants to go
Okay,
back, but at
I'm
the
going
same
with you to see
time,
Ingo.
she had such a bad experience
I
with
wanna go
Lady
somewhere.
Lindis, I think she just wants to avoid her altogether.
Ingo was the first one, right?
Yeah, the little peasant boy that we rescued.
You know, because his Grog's look of shock when you were talking about eating babies has turned into like morbid fascination, and now he's following to see the babies get eaten.
He's like, I must observe the natives in their natural habitat so that I might understand their evil.
But with like a Steve Irwin accent, like,
Crikey, she's a
I
beaut.
want to observe the natives in their wild habitat.
One bite and I'm dead.
He actually failed to understand for a whole hour.
Well, Grog came in at that time.
They're killing more babies than the dingoes.
I thought orcs were brutal, but this is just barbaric.
Okay, alright.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
so we show up at Ingo's front door. Knock, knock.
wait, who all is going and who all is not?
I'm going to Ego.
I was not planning on
Would
it.
anyone not go to Ingo's?
I
Speak now for real TPs.
I'm not planning on it.
Beryl needs to try to spend some time to officially read out of that red book and maybe.
Okay, so you're not going.
I was gonna try and hustle people.
I think.
Also understand the map,
So you're not
but mostly
going-
hustle people.
I think it's the long rest. The long rest
going?
people are going out
I'm
because
going to see
we've been
that
sitting there for a
Ego.
while.
Cool. And Grog, you going to Ingo?
Yeah, we
So
are.
you, left side team, go.
Left side.
West
Perfect.
Side. Anyway. So yeah, Warren, you head over. Because I assume you're checking on Ingo.
Yeah.
Sort of, Ingo's not really there. But you knock on the door, and his mom answers again, and she's just like, "Oh, it's you." You're like, there's more of a, like, you're not the weirdest person, and like she's sort of okay with that. She's like, "Thank you for saving Ingo. You know, I don't have much money. I don't want to pay you again." She's kind of like, for a moment, she's like,
No, like, believe it or not, I'm actually. It's hard to tell by looking, but I'm actually not a rich dude. It's okay. We're just wondering.
She kind of laughs at that. There's a literal like, like a legit laugh. Like you actually made her laugh,
Oh, okay.
Like, just no weird.
which is
stuff.
hilarious since you were so mad at Ingo last time you saw her.
Grog is closely scrutinizing her to see how she could eat the babies.
All right, roll for an investigation check.
Alright. Like, I need to understand this before I move on.
Fair.
Oh my gosh.
Investigation, you said?
Yep.
19.
19. You do notice that she does have, classic incisors and canines of biting through human flesh. And you also know that You know, she probably doesn't swallow them whole. Her jaw doesn't unhinge properly. But you do notice that she does have the ability to, you know, pound things into small pieces.
Ooh, okay.
Through,
So this
you know,
is
animal behaviors of use of tools.
so this is the closest study Grog has ever done of a human being.
Right?
And so he's learning so much right now. This is intense. Okay, he's gonna take some time to process.
She's kind of weirded out by the staring.
Yeah, he's like still intently like he's now uncomfortably close. Like
Yeah, and she's kind of giving you this look, but she also kind of blushes.
interesting. And then Grog writes that something down on his book.
And she's
Is
very
it just
flattered.
scribbles?
Yes,
She is absolutely
he doesn't know how to
flattered.
write, so it's kind of whatever. What?
Everybody else there can tell she's like super red, but she's also super into it.
Wow.
How about you, Nasia?
She
Do you
doesn't
make
get
this
enough
any more
attention at
awkward for
home.
me?
I'm really thinking of like having a funny little whistle, but I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, you sure?
I can't do that.
Well, she's super blushy, but she's just like, you know, Ingo's father hasn't been alive for a few years. She's just staring at Grog. She really
Looks
likes
like we're
Grog.
gonna get
These
some
are my
half
gods,
words.
and then just show up at her doorstep.
Seduce the mother.
I don't think it's seduction if she's like the one that wants to seduce.
I know, right?
She's trying to.
She's the seducer.
Temptress.
I don't think Grog is seducible, but it's a fun idea.
He can serenade her with his cowbell.
See, all this time he's always brushed humans off as like kind of being like wimpy, you know.
He's
now that
half
you know-
human, isn't he?
But now that he knows, well, yeah, but that's the half he's always kind of tried to suppress with his smashing, right? He's overcompensating, and so like this is him seeing this human in a new light, like a baby eating light, and it's really profound, actually.
This is how we lose Grog.
And he's thinking,
Lady. He's like, guys, I found my destiny in life. I'm gonna stay here with this beautiful lady.
Hold on, this might be like another step on the path, right? She can eat babies, like that's important. Grog values the smashability of eating babies.
Well, we're glad that Ingo is definitely doing better than his dad. We're definitely glad about that.
She's kind of like, she's not paying attention to Warren. Because, Warren, even after your bath, you do look super ragged, and frankly, you look like you just walked out of the woods again. You have this tendency to look like that even after you've like been to the spa, after you've been to the baths, after you've done your hair, it looks worse.
Amen. Preach it. Alright.
Alright, so
Do
is
you have anything to say to the
anybody
woman
else
who
want to do
is
stuff here?
no, so you guys have misinterpreted this. This is not romantic. This is more
Not from Grog's point of view.
This is a scientific study. This is as scientific as Grog gets. So he's really just kind of, you know, he's gonna start like poking and prodding.
She appreciates this.
Like
That's her
facially.
fetish.
Oh, things just got really disturbing.
Oh, they could get some.
But I
You
don't.
guys need a room?
No, why?
Okay.
She's like,
Me
I've
too.
got
Yeah,
four.
me too.
There, so
I've got
You two
4.
are really.
She's got 4 rooms. That's what she says. She has this like star-eyed look in her face. I don't know if she's seeing reality right now, man. She's crazy.
Obviously.
But then again, everyone was just brainwashed by a giant death monster from beneath the earth and beyond time and space. Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's probably pretty normal for Brunnogardt.
yeah. So Grog is still. I mean, he backs out a little bit, and he's still kind of. He's seeing things that make him think that the baby eating could be real. But he's still interested in kind of seeing it first.
He's convinced that it's possible, but is it happening?
Yeah, like I said, it's like a morbid curiosity, really.
Fair
I mean,
enough. Fair enough. But does he say that to anybody?
Is he like staying for dinner?
No,
or
so he'll be
something?
like, so did you eat the little kid that we brought back?
She just kind of looks at you like, it's kind of weird. But for after a moment, she's just like, that's really weird. But she's like, do you want me to?
Greg's like, no judgment here if you did. It's okay. I'm learning.
This is an open space.
I'm
No,
learning. I'm
but some
learning
people
more.
might say I bit his head off.
I'm an. Interesting. And then Grog keeps writing down
She
scribbles.
chewed him out, as it were.
Every time she says something, Grog like bows down and starts scribbling, but like you can tell it's not really writing, but he thinks he's like trying to.
He's
sound.
pretending to write.
I'm gonna lean into Warren and say, wait, do you think he thinks that people eat the babies?
What would Warren say?
I don't even know anymore.
Do you think we should tell him?
I told for like an hour. He was there the whole time. You try it, because I am out of the power to keep trying to explain this.
Hey, Grog.
Yeah.
It's not the people that eat babies. It's
Okay.
the hags, which are not people. Like
Okay.
a Bogdana.
So this lady is a hag.
I don't think so.
Is she a hag?
Did you ask her if she's a
Are
hag?
you a hag?
She's like, do you want me to be?
Oh my god! I can be whatever you want.
Oh my god.
She's
end this
so
interaction.
thirsty, you have no idea. But more importantly, she's
We're
like,
learning.
there's a moment where she's like, I'm like 1/6 hag on my grandmother's side.
So eat babies.
I have like a distant, like,
We are learning.
and of course she's meaning that one of her like, cousins is a hag.
You and me
Or
not
like
yet.
one of her cousins is a hag because of like the adoption thing. But like to her, that makes her part hag
So you.
because that's how the people in this town work. And
So I turn to
this culture.
Grog turns to Nakia and says, "Hey, you and me, Nakia, one day we're gonna understand this. I think it just needs some deep thought and some scientific method."
I think
He doesn't really know what scientific method is, but
He's
thinks-
heard it, and so
but-
he's going to
But
repeat
he's
it.
writing it in a book.
I think you need to have some more in-depth understanding. You know,
In depth.
maybe like in a bedroom. Or
This is such a weird experience for me.
Oh my goodness. So in depth. So he's gonna pick up the lady,
Okay.
and he's gonna find the
Look
nearest
what
well.
I did.
Her gesture, she totally is fine with being
He's gonna
grabbed.
find the nearest well,
Okay.
and he's going to throw her in it, so that he can understand her in depth.
Oh no!
That's fair. So, there are several smaller wells that
Okay.
wouldn't really fit her very
Okay.
well. They're sort of the decorative ones, but they're super poor ones.
Okay.
Are you
They're
gonna try
even
and stop
like
him?
they're not even deep.
You
They're
just
like
watch him like
2 feet
I
tall.
won't stop him.
These,
Once I
decorative
realize,
garden
like,
wells.
What he's doing.
There's like 2 in this sort of slum zone where she lives, but there's the larger one in the middle of town.
Then we will go to the middle of town.
Fair enough.
I must understand
This
in
is the
depth.
newer well, by the way,
Not
so
yet.
it's not the old one you went into.
Nakia is a trusted friend,
Is it
and
the new
I
one
want to
that-
follow his counsel.
Is it?
As you go to the well, like, do you make it obvious that you're going to throw her in?
I don't think it's obvious until I get there.
Yeah, because once you're like about to throw her in, I'm like, wait, no. That's
It's
not
too
what I
late.
meant. It was supposed to be a joke.
Roll give me an athletics check.
Me?
Grog, give me a dex. Give me a dex attack roll.
The dex attack.
Yeah, like a ranged attack.
18.
Okay, yeah, you hit. So you do throw her into the well.
no.
Well, I mean, it's not like
Well, the Q dropped the rock.
it's not like a throw.
You dropped it in
it's
the
like
old
a,
one.
It's like a drop her in the well because it's not.
This
to,
is the new well. This one's
It's not-
actually much more shallow.
Crap.
It's not to hurt her. It's to understand
It's
her.
still an
in
attack roll to
depth.
hit something
I don't have
with
feather
dex.
In
I
depth.
did. But
All right, roll for damage, by the way. Roll 1d4 because it's an improvised weapon, and you are not proficient in throwing women.
2.
All right, so she takes 1 damage of just sheer surprise at being thrown into the well, but she's able to
So
stand up in it. Actually, I mean, she doesn't get hurt or anything.
so into that.
She stands in it up, and she's just like
It's like
she's
So,
super happy.
Nakia's like.
Foreplay.
He turns to Nakia and he's like, "Is this in depth enough?"
what I said was supposed to be a joke, and that's not how it's supposed to be taken.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she's super starry-eyed, but Grog just isn't getting the hint. And so she's kind of like, she spends time with you for a moment, but she's just like, oh. And she kind of goes, she's like, I'll just go home then. She kind of gives all these pointed looks and like,
Grog says, yes, thank you for your time. And he continues to write.
And she's just like,
But like scribbles.
she like goes to there and she's just like, he's too tall, dark, and smart and intelligent for me. And she's just like, I was loved from afar.
You
The
broke this
great
poor
tragedy
woman's
of this
heart.
game.
I don't think the woman's heart's broke. She's absolutely fine. She's just not getting some of that orc.
Oh goodness.
I forgot I have an adventurer friend. I need to find out where he lives so I can visit him.
Was the husband also an orc?
Nope. Ingo's 100%, 100% human.
Okay.
Okay. So,
That was pretty interesting, though.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
a fun account.
that's immortalized forever and
We recorded it,
in
so.
recording.
Okay, Grog is going to continue his...
There's no shame in love.
Grog is going to continue, meander back to the inn, but he's going to continue his study of humanity as he walks.
Fair enough.
Continuing to write down, in quotes, without any words, his
You are free to do
observations.
so.
His observations about how they could eat babies, and what motivates them. You know, because
Questions for the philosophers.
he understands the smashing, but the eating.
Well, I mean, what is eating but smashing
What is
with your
love?
teeth?
And Grog says, "Thank you, voice in my head. You are always full of such wisdom."
I will
Are you
enjoy
talking
eating
about the
even
smashing?
more now.
Yes, that
Maybe you should
eating
smash.
is just.
Perhaps you believe it is the god of the orc people, who comes to all orcs in their true time of need.
From now on, he
You know,
eats.
not the time when you fight a giant evil, like, abyssal abomination, but when you're thinking about how
Deep
humans
thoughts.
eat babies.
Deep thoughts are really where orcs struggle the most.
Oh goodness.
I wouldn't say that, but hey, you said it, not me.
So who has something else on their minds? They want
Oh, I just wanted to hustle.
So Ingo's been attempted to be visited, and Grog's had his first romantic interaction in perhaps ever, really.
Except with the cow.
That's
That
never
was-
been proven.
It's not really canon, it's more like
It's my
headcanon.
headcanon.
Oh goodness.
And it's not, maybe it wasn't even romantic, maybe that was his first friend, was a cow, and the cow died, and so he has the bell to remember it by.
There
Like,
was
this
a
could be
romance
real.
once in Grog's life,
Once. Probably in how he was born.
but he will not speak of it.
Let's move on.
Yes. Berl wanted to try to meditate, take time to read the red book, and
In the temple.
yes, because it's quiet.
Okay. You can totally do so.
Okay,
As
so
long as you're in the entrance. If you do anything else, you might have to do stuff.
no, she's just gonna hang around
Cool.
that big area in the middle.
It's very quiet. It's abandoned by most people, and it seems pretty easy to meditate.
So she's gonna read the book. She wants to try to see if she can recall whatever the heck that statue thing Vision gave her. Because I failed those.
Statue vision, huh? Give me a... How do I do recalling memories that are fragmented and failed?
History? Jinx?
History's not really
I
my
think...
Insight.
Give me a intelligence and a wisdom saving throw. Just two different saving throws. Because you're dealing with head trauma.
Yeah, because wisdom would be like a perception sort of thing, so I think that could be with your memory.
Yeah. But also intelligence with your ability to recall it and figure
Yeah.
it out.
Alright, we're gonna make. You said wisdom?
Wisdom first?
We're gonna make
What'd you
that
roll?
one an
My
11, and
intelligence
we're gonna make
saving
intelligence
throw
a 6.
Yeah, not so good. You don't really make a lot of sense of what you got, but you do manage to pull back some of the memories and be like, what was it giving me? What did I learn? But you're quite aware of some of the motives in it. It seems pretty thematic for the Old Temple. It seems like some of it was intended to be about the history of the Old Temple. At least that's what you think. Probably. I mean, why else would it be in the Old Temple?
Right?
You didn't roll very well, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. Dang it. I tried. And then the other thing she wanted to do was try and see if she could mentally connect with the needle. Like,
All right. What do you intend to do?
just reach out to it and communicate with it, maybe. Cause
Give me a persuasion roll. Persuasion check.
Just looking through some audio
What'd you roll?
equipment.
That's a nat 1.
You're gonna narrate.
But it's not an attack, a save, or an ability roll, is it? It's not an attack.
Oh, it doesn't
save.
matter what roll it is. It's mine now.
No, but I mean, my lucky, I can re-roll an attack, save, or ability.
It's an ability roll. It's right under your skills thing, so it's an ability roll. You can definitely try to lucky it.
Alright.
Do you want to?
Yes, I'm gonna try and lucky that.
Alright, so until your next long rest, there goes your luck. Or at least part of it.
That's,
right?
I'm going to make 15.
Cool. So as you do, for a bit it like rebels against you, and the needle kind of actually pricks you a bit, and kind of like crawls away. And it's, at first you had been like, do my bidding, and been like really forceful and like a bit, you feel like it was a bit hurt by the way you treated it. But after time you managed to like coax it back and sort of to tell it to do things, and it kind of does. It kind of wiggles in directions you sort of intend, and you have a little bit of influence, but it's not like perfect. It's not exact. You're sending a command almost, and it sort of does that, but it kind of doesn't sometimes, and it's not as good. It's kind of a loose connection. Yeah.
Okay.
This music's my favorite for goofy stuff. It's just like, yeah, it's fun and chill and nobody's dying.
Yep.
Yet!
Oh, goodness.
Jeez, goof.
Okay.
I don't know.
Alright.
That's a spooky closet. Maybe there's food inside. Alright, so is that what you wanted to do?
Kind of. Just wanted to see if I could connect to it.
Give me a... Oh, by the way, give me an
Obedience.
intelligence roll. Just roll a D20 and add your intelligence modifier. Because this is for reading the
That
book.
makes 8.
You only got an 8? Mm-hmm. You read over some of the things you've already read. Even some of the new stuff, but the new stuff is kind of complex and talks about data, and you just... You're noble, not a scholar. You don't know this stuff, and you don't like it. I mean, you're a thief for a reason. You kind of don't want it, and it's actually really boring, and you just can't focus.
Alright. Well...
At least not right now. The temple is too quiet, even.
Yeah. Alright, well, I've done what I wanted here.
Cool.
I'll hop on the dog.
It was a
and go
nice
back.
try, though. I know what you're looking for with your questions, but you have not succeeded. I am sorry.
Nope. I tried. Alright, I'll hop on the dog and go back.
All right. I love how you're using the aboleth as the dog.
That's the only thing I can stick my figure on right now.
That'll come back to haunt you. Anyway,
Oh, goodness.
so you going back to town? Everyone's done their thing.
No.
Cool. What were you doing? Hustling people?
I thought that I was gonna hustle people, but then I was like, would I have time to make both a clockwork toy and a music box?
You could do one of those and hustle one person, or you can do both of those and hustle no people. Or actually, better than yet, you can do both those and hustle one person, or hustle 3 people. So you can hustle and do those 2 things, or you can do more hustling and only one.
Can I make one thing, check the map, so that I understand where I need to go? Like, I can actually read
Checking
it
the map will count
and
as one of
hustle?
those. So,
I want to do all 3.
so then you can hustle one person, make one clockwork thing, and check the map.
Yes.
Cool. So, which do you do first?
Probably first I'd make one of my clockwork things. I'm gonna make a clockwork toy.
All right. Give me a roll for. Let's see. What skill goes into this?
Oh, gosh.
I'm gonna get you a sleight of hand.
Yes.
Because I know you're good at that, and also because it seems fitting for deft handwork on, small machines.
Cool. 22.
Yeah, not bad. You managed to make one that's quite effective. What was it for? What's the intention?
The clockwork toy, it's animal, monster, or person when placed on ground moves 5 feet per turn in random direction, makes noises appropriate to creatures.
Did you have an animal in mind?
The one that popped into my head was a dragon.
Alright.
But maybe it's a unicorn.
It's a dragon unicorn.
It's a dragon unicorn.
It's a dragon
Dragoncorn, yeah.
Dragoncorn.
Well, let's see. Unable to make up your mind, I'm going to roll. And I'm going to roll on my crazy book of
Yes,
crazy
please
things.
do.
A unicorn.
She's a little distracted, so it could just be she does something really random.
Yeah, that's the point. Ah, fantastic animals. Here we go.
I just want to see a dragon with a horn.
You attempt to make a fantastic animal, and struck by inspiration,
It's a duck.
you actually end up creating a sort of yeti. An almost like a tall, like humanoid thing that's a bit not orcish, not giant, but it's just this strange, almost ape-like humanoid. And it's actually kind of adorable.
Aww.
What kind of noises does it make?
Well, I mean, that's up for you to decide.
Okay.
But I'd say a small... But that's like a small whirring of gears that makes the noise, being the most likely.
Oh, it's so cute. It makes me so happy.
Anyway, you can
So
put
what is
that
it?
on your list.
I can't. I put it on one list, but I need to put it,
Put it on your,
my
I
other
don't know,
list.
put it on your inventory, put it on treasures, put it somewhere.
Yep.
Don't forget it.
Ku should go
You'll
out
be
and
upset if you do.
use her charisma check on that frog so she can have a friend.
Which I want to know.
Again? Let's not do the frog charisma again. We've already done this.
She never had time to use the frog charisma.
You never have time for frog charisma. That's how it works. Frogs are charisma immune.
I do at some point.
They
need
literally
to...
only communicate through intimidation. That is their language of love.
What about deception?
It is similar, but a little different.
Definitely have great deception.
They really
Speaking of
don't.
which-
That's the joke. Very nice. So you guys got your thing done. Let's do your other thing.
Okay,
You
map. I do the
check
map,
the map?
first.
Just
next.
investigating the map. There is a mark to sort of the east. Most marks are toward your east. They're not south though. And there's a whole bunch of odd ones. Some are smaller, some are larger. You know, some are clustered together. There's a lot clustered around Dornmurra, actually. And then there's a few kind of that chained up towards Brunnogardt.
Perfect.
And then there's, of course, several in Kristalla, you know.
Okay, well,
And then there's one in Kazakastel, but there's like a sort of mark next to it that's like unsure. It's literally a thief's cant symbol of maybe.
cool.
You know, there's also like a couple speckled around, you know, further east and a few further north, but they're not very interesting and they just seem to be random.
Cool. That's exactly where I wanted to go anyway.
Surprise!
Yay! Okay.
It's like there's an intelligent force behind this.
Awesome. Yeah, she's gonna mark that intellectually and be like, this is where we need to go
Sense
next.
my teasing, Kylie. Am I done teasing yet? Has it reached you?
I was just spacing it.
I'm just teasing her because, you know, there's teasing is what I do. All right.
I was,
Cool.
I was like
Then I'm
half
gonna
paying
use my-
attention to all that.
My gaming set proficiency with cards
Oh.
to hustle people.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
You know,
As you
like,
go outside,
play-
you notice that today is the 5th day. Actually, you guys managed to get through quite fast.
Ah.
Mainly because I didn't manage time correctly. But today's the 5th day of Floor Untold, and today there are buttercups everywhere. It's sort of a yellow day, but it's also sort of a rich yellow day. And today was the kind of the meaning, at least for those in the know, is more about charm, attraction, and radiance.
Okay. Which actually explains a lot of the context for what's been going on today.
She's definitely gonna have buttercups in her hair while she's like, play a game with me and stuff like that.
You know, people are absolutely fine with being hustled. That's the joke about today. So, give me a roll with advantage. Yeah.
What am I rolling for? Well, that was a 2 both times.
All right. Give
Either
me
way.
a charisma roll, but this time make it a persuasion roll. Yeah, roll me a persuasion check. This time with advantage.
She rolled with advantage last time.
17 plus 7.
That's the point. I gave her advantage both times, because, frankly, today is the day of hustling. 17, huh? So,
Plus 7, plus 7.
yeah, so it's obvious the first time, like, you hustle someone, and they know exactly how you've hustled them. And, I mean, you're good at it, but they're just like, they got you, and they're just like, hey, today, they're just kind of amused, and then you're just like, it's part of the day, and I'm just hustling people, it's kind of a thing, but it's also kind of good-natured,
Yeah.
and you're not charging very much, which makes it seem like even more benign, like you're just out there to get some laughs and be like, who's gonna notice I'm cheating?
Which definitely Ku would do.
Yeah, so the person's absolutely fine with it. They actually give you a gold piece along with 2 silver pieces.
Yay.
That's how you hustle.
And they're amused, and so that's the gold piece. They tip you.
Yay! Thanks, man. And she, pretends to doff a hat even though she doesn't have
They're
one.
amused.
Hey.
It's amusing. It's part of the day.
Yes.
People today are kind of just out and enjoying the beauty in things, even if those things are goofy and stupid.
I kind of wish I'd done more.
Oh well.
It's fine.
You already did. You just don't think about it that way. You built an interesting, fun little thing, and it's about that.
Anyway, that was...
That's what you wanted to do? Cool.
The whole,
That was
also,
everything.
while you're hustling people, your little animal is going around like.
It's not even her little yeti is just sort of like in her pack, but it's also sort of moving like it's like making the walk motion, just in her pack for a moment. Because
I could totally
Maybe she
put it
forgot.
on the table, and it's just like...
what it does is actually it makes these like jerky steps, and then every now and then it stops and kind of like turns and looks, and then it kind of like freezes, and then it keeps walking again.
It's so cute.
I'm just imagining like
the Bigfoot
Bigfoot,
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
when they get
This
caught.
is definitely where everybody finds me when they come back, is hustling people with my little Yeti.
That's absolutely fine.
Q's lost their mind. I might just pull out the mirror and just shine it around places to see if anything.
So you use the mirror. Where are you using it again?
Just as I'm walking around, just be like.
As you do, sometimes you get odd things. Not too much in the daylight, though. It's sort of hard to see, because the sun's bright, and it doesn't like. It's not like a huge bright light source. But as you do, and you kind of look at the mirror, it kind of, at least the back of the mirror, it kind of illuminates faint outlines. Sometimes it illuminates like loose things or posts that aren't there, or occasionally it'll illuminate some person figure that isn't there. It kind of just makes things appear that aren't there for a bit. And some people are amused by this because it's radiance. They're just like, oh wow, that's so cool. What a magic trick for the day. And, lucky you.
Interesting. You charm people. Alright. I'll probably do that for a bit and I'll put it away.
Okay. Alright, is that everything?
That's pretty much everything.
Pretty sure we meet up at this point.
Can I add that while Grog is walking back to the inn, he's noticing that people are awfully affectionate today, and he's using it to his advantage to try and study. And so, he's giving people hugs and then patting them down for things that are interesting.
But does he take things?
No, not like stuff, but physical features that he may not have noticed.
It's a
about
bit
human
too
beings.
forward for today, and the hugging isn't a super big thing.
And he'll smile really charmingly at people as he
Give
walks
me a
past
persuasion check with
to
disadvantage.
see their teeth. What?
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
For what?
For getting
For
away
convincing
with
people that this is okay.
Good thing I had disadvantage. 9. It would have been 21.
That would have been a bit too good. Yeah, I see what you mean. So, as you do, people are really awkward about it, but they're just kind of like, maybe he's an idiot. And so they kind of give you, a pat back, but it's like that awkward pat, you're just stop hugging me. But, people, you think, there's not, any physical...
Grog's going to interpret that awkwardness as that they have something to hide and he needs to dig deeper.
Oh, no.
Okay,
God.
as he continues, okay, so that's just his travel back to the end.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
all his last note. Making lots of notes.
Fair
Then
enough.
Warren had one more thing if anybody wants
All right,
to come.
Warren.
And that was trying to see Jacob.
Okay.
Say hi.
Who?
Does anybody the messenger boy?
I would, but I don't think he really likes me.
I
so-
keep
Yeah.
trying to make friends with that kid, and he doesn't seem to
Want to come?
I think he would
Drugs,
like
yeah.
me better if I didn't come.
Greg's like, I think that guy got eaten, right?
No.
I'm pretty sure that was one of those ones that got eaten.
No.
Now, Beryl's kind of feeling dejected from Jacob. She's like, I don't know why I keep trying.
So who's going?
Try one more time.
Hey Warren,
I'll be
just
there.
It's
this
just a Warren
often.
thing, I think.
Warren, just let him know that I thought he would appreciate it if I didn't come.
That's depressing. I'm not gonna say that.
Just because Berl is bored as heck, she'll go.
Okay.
All right. How are you gonna find
Gotta keep
Jacob?
hustling people.
Excuse me. We're looking for the messenger boy, random person. Like, do you know where we would look? His name is Jacob.
The person that you're talking to, just random person's like, why didn't you talk with someone who he works for?
Right. So we go up to the manor
Right.
and we knock. Who answers?
You actually don't get to the knocking part because kind of outside of the manor and kind of near some of the people, you do see Jacob. He's kind of sitting there. He's actually got a he's got a knife.
I want to go solo myself.
You actually notice that it's one of the knives you saw with the cultists,
Okay.
and he's carving something just casually, like just sort of smiling, being on his own.
Warren is not good with talking to people or starting conversations, so he kind of looks at you.
You want me to go talk to the kid?
I mean, I guess I can do it.
What do you want me to say to him?
Say hi. Say hi. Just say hi.
So, messenger kid, this Warren wants to say hi to you.
Oh. Hi.
I have a name.
Hi, Jacob.
He
Sorry.
immediately goes from being like this contented, happy thing to like this sort of sad, like it was my day off.
And I should have known that. I know he's got a name, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna like kind of hang my head and
Freak down.
shave and
He
walk
actually,
off and-
there's kind of a moment where he kind of like rolls his eyes and stuff. It's like it's fine. He's just carving. He's a bit better today. He's had time to rest and achieve more, happiness and whatever Jacob can, use socially.
Okay. Well, Warren's just gonna be like, hey, she didn't really want to come. I just asked her to say hi because I was nervous.
That's kind of sad.
You're kind of sad.
Well, anyway.
Not got much to do stuff with either.
I got to go to a spa yesterday, and then he like shows off his completely wrecked clothes. They got
Jacob
oiled.
kind of looks at Warren. He's like, very nice.
Have you gotten to do anything for Florentold?
I've done a few things.
Okay. Well, I wanted.
There was a faint smile there, though, that you could tell pretty obviously that he has done more than a few things. He's actually feeling pretty good now,
Nice.
and
Okay. So Warren's like, well, wanted to say thanks. Give you a tip for all your help and for skipping out on so much of
his eyes kind of do light up at the mention of a tip.
Yes.
And he stops, and it's a little more obvious now that he stopped, but he is carving an orange of sorts, a fruit. He's carving the peel off with the knife.
Oh, I thought he was
And,
whittling something.
It looked like he was, but it turns out that it's just this
It's just a
hard...
really tough orange, it's just super old.
Actually, what he's actually peeling is this orangish... It's almost a citrus-looking thing, but it has this almost, like, nut-like casing. So it's actually almost like a fruit inside a chunk of wood. And so he's been carving that off. And normally, you would know that you break this, usually through smashing, to get to it at all. And there's this sort of like wibbly
several
wobbly
blocks
inside
away, all of a
that you
sudden,
can
like,
like carve out. But he's kind of taking his time and doing a more finesse, get everything off of it, because it is kind of this crunchy, hard stuff that, he just doesn't like. Some people do.
like a coconut.
It's kind of like a coconut, but the whole inside is squishy delicious.
Like an orc.
Oh my god!
You are
not-
odd, man.
Yeah, we're having a strange day.
You are changing my opinions of you every time we play.
So,
I thought we knew each other.
so he gives Jacob like 5 gold coins as a tip.
Jacob is very pleased with the 5 gold coins. He's like, that's a lot of gold coins.
I have a lot of gold coins right now, so by all means.
He pockets them expertly.
Okay.
He actually, he does this really fast flourish with them to put it into his pocket. And,
It's definitely a thief.
he does the finger roll with the coin, but he does it with each of them in a row, really fast. And you can tell he was very happy to have coins.
Jacob.
Warren tries to do that with one of his, and it just keeps falling. And as he's trying, he's like, "Got any plans for the rest of Florental?"
And he's just like, "Oh, I do whatever I want." And he seems absolutely ecstatic with that.
Okay.
Alright.
Sounds good. Have a good time then. I'm gonna do something. Probably gonna get a massage.
Alright.
Okay, that's all.
That's the experience. Did you want to do anything with Jacob? Talking to him?
I've been polite. I don't know. All my attempts to interact with this kid don't go very well.
It's hard to interact with Jacob. I'll admit.
I've noticed, yeah. I was like, oh, this
It's
is
also
slightly
very hard to interact with Jacob when you're associated with people Jacob isn't fond of.
I know.
Like
but
me?
I've been trying to be nice to the kid. I haven't taken his hat. I've been giving him extra coins, and I hugged him that once,
But
even though he
maybe
didn't like
Jacob
it.
just isn't showing affection the way you want him to. Maybe Jacob's his own man.
Maybe.
Boy. Messenger boy, really.
Yeah.
And I
just-
still
I don't know.
him back.
I don't know anything
teased
about
him
this
for
kid, and I don't want to wreck his day any more than everybody else has.
Maybe go complain at him, like, I keep trying to make friends with you, and you keep.
I'm sure that'll do it, yeah.
No, that's not gonna
That will
end well.
definitely do it.
I don't know.
Approach him violently to establish dominance. You gotta
Yell at him.
T-pose at him, just stand, spread the arms.
Maybe I'll just walk over and sit next to him and just kind of be awkward for a
Well, he's
bit.
sort of leaned against the wall. He's half sitting, but
Maybe I'll
but
just.
you can kind of do that too. He doesn't
Yeah.
mind.
I'll just
He doesn't say anything, but he's just sort of there.
yeah, and I'll just kind of sort of be there for a bit too. And
Okay.
I'll just be like, so. I'm bored.
He kind of flicks a piece of the shell at you. Kind of, it's kind of humor. There's a bit of a smile there, but that's most of what he does. You know, he manages to extract some of the stuff. It's kind of, they split a chocolate orange in the middle,
Right.
and so it's squishy and stuff, but it's also naturally segmented, hence the hard covering, and the necessity to peel it out with a knife. But as he does, he kind of offers you a little bit.
Alright, I'll take one of them and nod my thanks. And I'll just be like, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything. He's just happy to be eating the orange thing.
Not
The
having to
orange
run,
nut.
not having to run straight
The Coke
people all over
orange.
the place.
Alright.
That's probably
I'm
very,
gonna call it the Coke
very
orange.
big relief.
Cocoa orange, there you go.
Cocoa orange.
The cocoa orange.
No, just a Coke orange.
Cocoa orange.
Because that's cocoa orange is too
Orange
complex.
Coke.
Oregon nut, maybe?
Or a cocoa range.
No, you guys are being weird now. It's boring.
I'll be like, so how's your family doing?
He does not really respond to that, and he doesn't seem to really deign it with an answer. He doesn't smile at it. He's just sort of don't have one.
I'll be like, yeah, I left mine.
As if his
I don't
He's
know.
like, well, you had
is
one.
the one who's really wanting.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're still alive or not.
I know,
Well,
but
I guess
He's like, they probably are.
nothing's considered.
People live till they get killed.
Yeah.
He's very
That's
specific
morbid.
about this.
Okay. Trying to make light conversation, and I just hit a really sore topic with the kid.
It's not very sore to him. He does not really
He
care
does not
either way,
feel-
but he's probably I don't really enjoy it, though. It's not what he wants to talk about on his day off.
Right.
But it's not like it's hurt.
I mean, like, you know your family's still alive and that they want you and that they're
Yeah.
paying a large amount of money to try and get you.
they're trying to get
That's
me.
true.
He's actually kind of seems a bit grumpy in some ways towards you guys, and he's like, "You guys messed with with Radomir, and well, I guess Radomir's family."
I kind of rubbed the back of my head a little bit awkwardly. Be like,
Help Radomir.
yeah, we did, but I mean, Grog was the one who was
You lied a
smashing
bunch
things.
about destroying parts of the mansion.
I didn't destroy it. That was Grog.
You stole things too.
I saved the thing
was
from
me.
being smashed.
You
I
gave
didn't
them away.
steal it.
And he's just like, he kind of like gives you a look, and he's just like,
I'll be like, hey,
Radomir's too nice for his own good.
you can't tell me that little boy didn't deserve that dragon.
Didn't deserve that dragon?
You can't
It doesn't
tell her.
matter who deserves the dragon. It's not his dragon.
No, it might
He
not.
kind of
be.
gives you this look like, you know. By the way, Jacob's lawful good. He's a lawful good thief.
Lawful good thing.
What?
That's funny.
What? He steals from the rich to give to the poor. That's not even
That's
lawful.
chaotic good.
Anyway, I'll be like, still. I think you did better in that boy's hand than it was getting smashed by Grog. I have no.
He doesn't argue with that, but he's just like,
I have no regrets about it. At least it didn't sell it. Like I was in.
This is good. I feel like you guys can unite over your hatred for Grog. I think that's good.
well, his response is literally just like, why should I be thankful that you didn't do something bad when you did something bad anyway?
When they go away.
He kind of gives you this look, he's like, well,
Play a card.
I don't expect good things from everyone.
Is that why he hates us so much?
It might be, because,
He's heard of all the dumb things that we've been doing.
oh, he's
for so
not
long.
just
He's
heard, he's
Go fish.
quite aware.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, this is out of character, you guys don't know this, but Jacob's basically father figure is Radomir. He's an orphan, and Radomir's the only reason he's not on the streets. And so Radomir's kids are kind of his younger siblings, and he takes personal affront to you all for having ruined things of that is, and he's made sure they don't know it. As well, he's made sure that it sounded like the monster to them, and nobody else knew that. But he's very aware that you guys are the ones who've done it.
I didn't break anything. Wasn't even with the guy who was
Well, he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he just
He's not
knows that-
omniscient. He's just acutely aware of people who steal things. You know, as someone who's spent a lot of time on the street, but
he's-
not necessarily been
I've not
dependent on
stolen
it.
a
He's
single
a thief
thing,
himself.
even though I'm not there. So
Yeah,
say that.
well.
Anyway,
What can I say? It's in my nature.
Everyone's protesting.
All
that they
things
never
considered,
stole
I haven't
anything, but
stolen all that much since.
yeah, he
then.
throws another chunk
Grog
of
never
the nut
stole
at
from
you.
you either.
This one's a bit harder, but it's
Ow.
also good-natured. He offers you more fruit. He's just like, don't do it again.
Alright, thanks.
You've been forgiven. Jacob is magnanimous.
Alright.
the grace of
Alright.
Jacob is upon you.
All right. And that's all that you guys want to do in town? So this close up?
I've got
As you
nothing
guys
else.
approach the inn, you hear Grog and Nakia talking, and Grog's like, "So they don't eat babies?
no,
What a sad day.
they don't eat babies.
You're sure?"
It's like evening now.
I'm very
You
certain.
know, it's actually not evening, but it feels like it should be.
I'm
doesn't
pretty
it?
sure.
It's actually
I
sort of
have-
midday.
I think the only
about
person
noon.
here
I kind of want to
That
sell
eats
like
babies
all of my
is
stuff,
Bogdana.
Bogdan. Okay.
but I don't know if that would take too much time.
I think.
Only person.
Yeah.
I approve. of
She
that.
said good. She kind of said she did touch base with Bogdan, and I wanted to touch base with the people that we saved or hung around. And
Fair enough.
I don't dare go say hi to the real Hugo because his whole house just intimidates me, and I hope that he's not a monster anymore.
He didn't look like a monster when you kind of handed him over.
More like when he was taken from us.
It was sort of a mutual effort, but you were surprised.
Oh, where'd
When
the
he
kid go?
vanished,
It
left
was more
aside.
like you weren't ready for him to be taken yet, but you know, like
Oh,
it was. It was. And you're not gonna just like grab someone you know would probably offend people, so you just sort of let him.
Alright.
You know.
I'm probably once we're all together, I'm gonna like slam down the map and be like, we should go here.
Where do you point?
Dormira, since
Dormira?
that's the closest one.
All right.
I'm good with that.
Warren kind of has, like, because everything about Dormir that he knows is really dangerous. Like, why are we wanting to go there? Why do you want to go there? That doesn't sound like a healthy place to go.
Because the man that stole my civic virtue, I don't know, there's something related to him over there.
Well, there's a beautiful
I was
land
gonna
of
ask if that was
Brunnogardt
where you're
Huh?
on
from.
the way.
The what?
Like Brunnogardt, it's on the way. Dornmer is on the way to Brunnogardt, and Brunnogardt.
Yeah.
That one is known for incredible kind of beautiful places, and it's sort of it's almost like a resort place in many ways. There's probably things that Warren might want to go to there, and you probably know that by now.
Dormira?
No, past Dornmira, Blomgard.
Blomgard, okay.
But on the way, you'd probably have to go by Dornmira, so like.
Yes, that argument.
You'd be like, well, we're gonna go over to here where it's nice and pretty.
I'm only saying that
Let's
because
get-
I know your
yeah.
character knows these things.
Greg's done way too much thinking today already, and so he's gonna go lay down for a minute.
Okay.
Well, you guys, he's like, you guys decide where we're going. I'm not really particular. I just have a lot to process right now. I'm gonna go
Is the
lay down.
girl
And if it-
following?
She's not. Though she probably wishes she did.
If he's processing, we have like a little bit of time. Can I try and get in contact with my criminal contacts
Absolutely,
to know more
um,
about Dormira?
You can absolutely
there.
do that. It's not going to be too difficult because you kind of know. Did you ever come up with details about your criminal contact? Or am I left to invent the criminal
I
contact?
didn't know that I had to. You invent.
Alright. Well, give me like 20
Knowing
seconds.
how cute
It's gonna be
he
Jacob.
is.
That would be hilarious, but she didn't recognize him, so no, can't be Jacob.
Nope.
But, perhaps. So you kind of go through some of the market, you go into some of the slummy districts, you know, the places that are more like shanty towns rather than an actual city, and you kind of had to get away from the main part of town, like the nice part. You kind of have to go a bit farther away again, but this is a bit in the opposite direction.
Cool.
And you kind of end up and someone's from behind you is just like, where are you going?
I'm off to talk about wonderful things with a great friend.
You know, like, oh, great friends, huh? They must be better than me.
I don't know, I think you could be a great friend.
Well, that depends. How much coin do you have? There's kind of a little giggle. You know, you kind of you're kind of aware of them now. And they're this, you know, sort of medium, almost dwarf-sized kind of person.
It's almost my size?
They're a bit taller than you.
Ah.
And they're just sort of they're sort of smiley, and you'd recognize them.
Hey.
They are notable because they are wearing a red scarf, sort of thing. It's more of a cape or a cloak, really, but you know, it's about the same.
Cool.
And they're just sort
Sure,
of
that's
like
significant.
happy to see you.
Hey, friend. How you be?
About the same as always. Still don't know my name. I'm glad.
What?
They're glad you don't know their name.
Still.
Oh, I thought you were saying your name was Glad.
Oh, you can call me that if you want.
You know I will, Glad. You are my glad friend.
Friends is such a broad term, but they're kind of amused by it, and you're also aware of the protocol in Thieves. You don't normally give your public name, you know, the official identity you have, because you don't want the police finding you, and so you normally don't even have like an official title that you write down. You have like a call name.
Yeah.
You know, and so this one normally goes by red, hence the color, right? Clear, obvious color. They probably only wear it when they're contacting people,
Yeah.
like you. And they kind of were expecting you in town and kind of figured you'd be looking for them eventually. And so they were wearing it while you're here.
Hey.
But yeah, they're there. So what's up?
I need some information. We're off out of this town in a little while, I'm sure, and I just need a little information about where I'm going.
All right. Where are you going?
Don Mira.
Dormira, huh?
On the way to...
Brunnogardt?
Yes.
Oh yes. One flower city to another.
You know it.
No, less. Far less truly flowery. We have the better ones.
I can't argue with you. These are beautiful flowers.
You've probably never been to Brunnogardt, but don't let them know that. And they agree with that. They're just kind of like, yeah. What did you want to know about it?
General information. Also, if there's any dangers that I should be looking out for.
Well, if
But
you're going by
also-
Dormira, watch out for the plants. Everyone knows it, but just be careful.
Good to know.
You also have to watch out for a whole lot of other things, but not a lot of people survive it, and I'm not actually up to date on it. I just know you should be careful on that one. But that said, there's a lot of unattended treasure, too.
Ooh.
Still, not sure why
You're
you'd
being
want
close
to
to
go
the
there.
ground on any of that treasure?
Not too much.
Any?
I intend to get away with the treasure, not die with it. Just kind of a little giggle. Just like the, classic humor, but also kind of like, I don't know how to laugh. Not with people. But also,
Wait, yeah. Are there like any bounties or anything that you know if I'm headed that way?
well, not really too many bounties. You can find those at any post anyway, in the nearby
true.
regions.
But I know you're the first place to get good information.
Oh, look at you. This flattery will get you everywhere.
I have great persuasion.
That said, I can refer you into Brunnogardt. I have another acquaintance. Introduce yourself to Blue,
Oh,
my cousin. The little fool who thinks Brungardt's better.
Oh,
We haven't talked in a few years, but,
Still,
I
you
understand.
can't have enough allies on this side of the law.
It's true.
Anyway, so,
Thanks,
yeah.
fam.
So there might be one more thing I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Alright, what do you want to do? I assume everyone's going to leave town after this.
Yeah, so before leaving town, Jacob's words are kind of setting on Berl a little bit, and she's gonna go back and find him real quick and pull out that pearl inlaid necklace that she took from Radimir's desk and be like, just take it.
He kind of catches it, kind of pockets it pretty effectively. In fact,
Deep conscience.
yeah, it was
She's
alright.
having a change of heart.
And,
Oh, I have to teach her better.
he kind of just gives you a small smile. It's like, he respects that.
It was a bit of a hard thing to do, too.
I'm sure.
Had to erase it forever.
I'm keeping the rings, though. I'm gonna say that as I leave. I'm keeping the
And
rings.
he's just like, that's why it's only a smile, not a reward.
Yeah.
Not that much of a change of heart.
He's aware that you haven't solved anything yet, but that you're trying to be nice. And he appreciates that you're trying.